forgive any interruptions to signal, any mistakes we might make, or any fumbling of words. This is rather unnatural for us, but nevertheless, we're very excited to be doing this because we're here. This is Sri Lanka in the background. This is one of our villas, and we wanted to just start with sharing our personal story of our trip so far.
Yeah.
And get into some questions. We've got a few questions that have already come in from some of our partners and customers that have followed us on other social media posts over the last week. So we'll start with those, but feel free to post any questions you have into wherever you're watching us from. I believe we're simultaneously live on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Forgive me if one of them is not working.
Great. Well, should we get straight into the questions?
Well, first of all, what about our trip? I mean, it's been awesome, hasn't it?
It's been fantastic. We arrived in Colombo a week ago. We stayed in an incredible property there. It was a great introduction to Sri Lanka. And from there, we've worked our way down the coast, just staying in villas a couple of nights. And right now, we're still halfway through the trip and we're in Marissa. And Marissa is actually quite an exciting location. Last night we went out and there was shops and restaurants all lining the street.
There's a really good energy, I think, in Marissa and Weligama. It's become a magnet for I saw lots of young people, young travellers, because there's a really good surf break. I think I counted 50 people surfing in Weligama.
Yeah.
The tuk-tuks have got surfboard racks here, which I think is really cute, adorable. But there's an energy here that has a magnetism to it that's bringing in a lot of folk, and really cool energy in this part of Sri Lanka.
And it's great to see so many tourists. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of tourists, a lot more than when we were here a few years ago.
Well, you know, I think that leads into the first question, which is the big question: how are things in Sri Lanka right now?
Yeah.
And I think the question really means, you know, do we feel safe? Is everything working? Can you get around? And the answer is 100% yes. I mean, from the minute we arrived at the airport, it was very smooth sailing all the way through. And you know, the troubles that Sri Lanka had just appear like a memory to me now. It was over a year ago. So, yeah, it's up and running and it's really great.
We felt really safe just getting around in our tuk-tuks, car and driver. It's been fun.
And on that note, I think there's an undercurrent of hospitality in Sri Lankan culture. You're just greeted by smiling faces. You're brought inside the villa or into restaurants like a family member. There really is just
Open
so much.
arms,
Yeah.
big smile.
It's just
that
love
warm
here.
hospitality.
So how are things in Sri Lanka right now? Awesome. Open for business. Very smooth sailing. And I would also just add, maybe it's for the next little while or medium while, as obviously it has come from some bad news last year, but it's extreme value. I mean, extreme value.
Especially when you're staying in a villa.
These villas that are normally thousands of dollars per night, you can find villas like this on the beach for hundreds of dollars per night with many, many bedrooms accommodating large groups. And
But it's not just that, it's actually the food as well. I mean, we have a large group of staff with us, 12 people. We stayed at one property for 2 nights, 3 meals a day. I mean, in total, I think there was 7 meals plus entree and main. It's $93. That's Australian dollars, so it's around 75 US to feed 12 people over 2 days. That's quite incredible.
And that was a chef making everything. That was a team of waiters bringing it out.
Menu.
No plates, you know, were licked clean because there was an abundance of delicious chef-prepared meals. So the value for Sri Lanka, for anyone looking to get out of the box and go traveling somewhere new or maybe come back again, the value proposition is the best I've ever seen in my 20 plus years of traveling all around Asia and the rest of the world. This is one of those moments where you can get just the very best of hospitality at a discount, really.
Now, I knew being live something was going to go wrong, but it's not going wrong. I'm just getting blinded by the sun, so...
You want to wear sunglasses?
Not yet. Let's go to the next question.
All right, next question. All right, this is a very specific question. Do you have villas in Sri Lanka to accommodate 5 to 15 people?
Yes. Absolutely. We're staying in a villa right now and it's got 8 bedrooms. So, I mean, that's 16 people.
That handles the 15 ends.
Yeah. And then tomorrow night we're staying in a property and it's got 2 bedrooms, sleeping 4 people.
Oh. Well, of course, we've got a range of villas spanning all of these options. What's best is to speak with one of our villa specialists when either you're planning your own trip or perhaps with one of our dear partners looking after customers and help planning the trip, because we have the expertise. We have the boots on the ground right now with many of our team here with us. Yep, sunglasses
on.
So in speaking with Diana or Neela or Navjot or Sarah or any one of us, you can actually ask those very specific questions. What's the villa that's suitable for this number of people?
Yeah.
What's a good fit for us? And if you tell us what you're looking for in terms of architecture, in terms of what things you want to see, or whether it's to relax on the beach, we will find you that perfect villa for your trip.
And it doesn't actually have to be on the beach. We've got incredible properties up near Candy, inland. If you want to be inland, just maybe 20 minutes from Gore Fort, there's some wonderful properties.
Yeah.
Incredible villas.
Next question. What is the visa process for Australians to travel to Sri Lanka? Well, that's great. Thank you to the Australian customer asking that question. As Australians, we can answer that one perfectly for you. It's really straightforward. There's a website which is hosted by the Sri Lankan government. You log on to that, add the details of the trip, your passport, everything. So it's an online visa process. I believe it costs 50 USD per applicant. It might be only 40. I'm sorry on the specifics. And then it's just processed online with the credit card processed online. I think you get the response back within hours, so it's really, really smooth.
But it was a really straightforward process arriving into Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
I mean, it was easy. We were through the airport. We had carry-on, so we were through the airport in 20 minutes.
And when we arrived and we went to the immigration desk, they have the system there, and they said, "Oh, yep, Mr. Logston, Miss Sarah, yep, we have your details. Come on in." So there was a small arrival form to fill up. And we went through in minutes. Like, it was really smooth, and even the customs guy that we had was big smiling chap, the immigration fellow. I mean, that hospitality really started at the airport. Now, how many times can you say that about a destination when you get that sort of hospitality with the government officials? Okay, we have another one here. Where should we stay while visiting Sri Lanka?
Oh gosh, that is such a tough question. I suppose it really depends on what you're looking for. If you want to be up in the hills or you want to be on the beach, my recommendation would be, if you have the time allows, and you can stay 7 to 10 nights, maybe stay a couple of nights in Colombo or just even one. If your flight's coming in late, it's always nice to do a couple of nights, and then perhaps work your way down the coastline, or you might decide to do 2 nights, then a couple of nights down in Marissa, or perhaps any of the beaches in between. You might even want to go down to the Yala National Park.
Oh yeah, we're going to go there in a few days.
Yeah, do a safari. And then I suppose you can go inland as well. So it really comes back to what you're looking for your trip. What's the style? Is it about spending time with your family and really not doing anything, or do you want to be active and every couple of days on the run and doing something and seeing something new and experiencing the culture?
I think that's, if I can tag in, darling, if this glass represents Sri Lanka, it's not a perfect shape because Sri Lanka is a teardrop, so more like the glass upside down. In the north is very much still very quiet and not developed for tourism. So Colombo is on the east coast about here, and when you come into Colombo, the capital, it's got a great energy actually, and I'd recommend going to Galle Face Hotel, which is the big grand hotel on the beach, gin and tonics, some snacks, watching the sunset go down, obviously on a west coast. So from Colombo, the capital, all the way down to the southernmost point, that's the southwest coast. And we've got dozens of villas just all the way along. All of the beaches from there all the way down are all gorgeous. It's got a pinkish hue sand, lovely big strong waves, beautiful villas, and that's really the most popular tourism path for the relaxing component of a trip, to just flop, bring family, play games. When you go, if we take it now to the southeast corner, that's Yala National Park, which is probably the most known of the national parks where you can go on wildlife safaris to see the elephants, perhaps to see the cheetah or the leopard, which is a very exotic animal here to try and find. Now, if you come inland from here, up from the bottom through the middle, we have Ella, Nurialia, and through this little adventurous path here, we did it a few years ago, and we took the train winding through all the tea plantations up in the highlands. So it's really exotic and really adventurous. We have villas spread throughout this area up here, but please note that, referring to that earlier question, there aren't so many big mega villas like we have on the beaches here. So we'd need to really understand what the group wants to do to fulfill that. And then right in the middle of Sri Lanka, you have the city of Kandy. That's K-A-N-D-Y. And it used to be the old capital. What makes that a destination is they've got one of Buddha's teeth, Buddha tooth, in one of the shrines there. And you sort of get a bit more of a blend of Sri Lankan daily life in that city, because it is built up and amongst the hill stations. And then north of there, you've got what's called the Cultural Triangle. There are 3 UNESCO heritage listed locations that you can then visit from there. So that's a long story. There's a cultural triangle at the top. There's the tea trails and going inland from the coast to get access to those big old tea plantation style homes, and to go and explore and to be surrounded with nature and tropical jungle. And then you've got the beach.
Well said.
All right.
Next question.
Next question. I'm traveling with my family for 2 weeks. Should I pair Sri Lanka with another location on an Aussie? So, you know,
we have done this before.
we have done this before.
So again, I think it comes back to, what are you looking for? You know, do you want to be jumping in on flights and moving around, or do you want to stay put?
I'm developing a feeling myself.
Okay.
We've been to Sri Lanka, 4 times. This is our 4th trip, and I feel like it is actually a destination unto itself. And you really can allocate, if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, even a month, just to come to Sri Lanka. It's even that's not enough. So I don't think it necessarily needs to be added like the pearl to the necklace and daisy chained to other destinations. I think as you dig deeper and research more and speak to our team, you'll find, wow, there's a lot to Sri Lanka that perhaps most of the world doesn't really know about. It's still a frontier, gorgeous beach destination when compared with Phuket or Bali or places like that. But equal, if not a little bit better in terms of the beach quality, the villas,
The
and the
beaches are
food.
really beautiful.
It's Okay, let's see. Any fresh questions coming in? Ooh, how does the meal and chef system work in a villa?
Oh gosh. Okay, well it depends on which villa, but most villas work off a grocery system where the staff purchase the groceries on your behalf, and then there's a small surcharge on top, usually around 10 to 20%. You have a menu, so you're ordering from that menu, but again, it's groceries plus a surcharge. So like I said earlier, it cost us 93 Australian dollars, 75 US, to feed 12 people for 2 days, so it can be quite affordable. Some villas do work off a price menu, but again, it's not as expensive as going out to a restaurant. I think the average price for an entree in May was around the $5 US, $5 to sort of $10 for a main. So it's very affordable.
On that note, I might add, one of Sarah's and my pleasures when traveling anywhere in the world is, just going to the local supermarket and having a look at what do they eat here and what am I going to try. And on the pricing point, I went to find a Coca-Cola. What does a bottle of Coke cost? And it was 40 cents USD, so 60 cents Australian for a bottle of Coke. So with the political strife that happened last year, a long time ago here in Sri Lanka, what happened is it had a big knock-on effect for the currency, which means you on the price parity basis, there's a lot of purchasing power right now. So when the grocery system is done and you're getting all this fresh food and fish and vegetables,
Oh, the seafood.
you're also getting incredible prices.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any more questions?
All right.
We've got a few people joining us today. Thanks
Where are
for
you? Where are you? In brackets, Sarah, off to next? Is this
Oh.
implying we're breaking up? Where are you off to next, David?
Oh gosh, where are we going? So tomorrow, I think we're heading south. As we said, we're going to be going to Yala. We've got a fantastic villa just on the outside of the national park. And then first thing on Monday morning, I have a safari organised.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we're going to next.
And then just
But
to be
that's in the country.
Yeah, I was gonna
After
say,
Sri Lanka, we're going to be heading to Bali.
back to Bali.
Bali, Indonesia.
I was going to say, just to be thorough, I'll preempt the next one. All right. Well, everyone, I think the questions are slowing down now.
Thanks very much for joining us today. I mean, it's been our pleasure to just bring you into, I suppose, our home, our villa, and just share a little bit more about Sri Lanka and answer a few questions that you've had for us today.
So this is one of my favourite expressions. Are there any more drinks before I close the bar? And looking for questions here.
No.
No, I think we're in the all clear. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Please talk to us. Give us a call, email, look on the website. Add Sri Lanka to your bucket list. Take it from us. It's really worth it. It's epic. And please do reach out anytime you need anything from Ministry of Villas.
Thanks for joining us. See you later.
Just save it.